Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how the writers of Scream 5 failed Sam into being the lead final girl. So I've made it no secret, I hate Scream 5. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, hate it, hate it. It's the only one in the franchise I truly hate. And when it comes to the character of Sam, it's very diverse throughout the fandom. Now, I'm not talking about Melissa's acting at all, so this video won't be about that. It's actually just have to do with the character and her being the lead and her being the final girl of this franchise. Which, I've said before many times, it should be Tara Jenna Ortega's character. And there are reasons for that, but I don't think I've ever, well, I have mentioned why I think it is, but I've never said this reason and this reason only. There are two huge flaws within the writing of Scream 5 when it comes to the Sam character. And it's the reason why I feel like she should not be the lead or the final girl, only because there's something that feels incomplete about her character. And so, back to the whole Melissa acting thing. She totally redeemed herself in Scream 6 when it came to the acting, and she redeemed herself in La Vida season 3. So yeah, but now back to the whole flaw thing. There is a flaw in the writing. To put it simply, I don't trust the writers of this franchise and stuff, or the new writers and stuff for Scream 5 and 6. There's just something that just doesn't click when it comes to their writing the way Kevin Williamson wrote characters. Direction, on the other hand, I can give that a pass. There are some scenes that are truly cool in Scream 5 and 6. Like when Tara got tapped in the beginning of Scream 5, that was cool. When she was in the hospital trying to crawl on the floor, that was cool. The subway scene in Scream 6 with Mindy, that was cool. And also the opening of Scream 6, that was pretty cool as well. But when it comes to Sam, once again, there's just something that doesn't scream lead actress or final girl in this franchise. She's taken over Sydney's role, Neve Campbell's role, and that's pretty huge shoes to fill. Sydney is like a true final girl and everything. But what is it about Sam that I don't like in her setup to make her the final girl that's completely different from that of Sydney? Well, it has to do with show, don't tell. See, the flaw in Tara is that everything that should make her a interesting character and who should make her our new lead and our new final girl is always told to us. We never see a glimpse of anything shown, and whenever it is, it's very, very, very brief. I'll explain. Let's get to Sydney. In Scream 1, Sydney, the whole, like, everything around the movie revolves around Sydney of her being the lead and the final girl because of the actions of her mother, Maureen Prescott. The thing we know about her from Scream 1 is that we knew from the start that it was reported that she was sexually assaulted and murdered, like, I think a year prior. And so, like, we're told that, okay, that's fine. We didn't get to actually see the murder. But everything else accumulates to that Marines, like, murder and stuff. It's very subtle, but it's enough to show without having to fully tell. And what I mean by that is all of these characters, whether they're minor or like a leading character, they help tell the story of Maureen Prescott to where it shows enough stuff to make Sydney that of the final girl. It's like wearing an accessory or something like that. We have the news report of Cotton Weary, and they're talking about how he like assaulted and murdered Marine when he was framed and everything. So it's like, okay, we get to visually see a person related to that of the Marine murder and stuff. Then you have Gail and her interaction with Sydney, and how Sydney, told her how you exploited my mom's murder, and Gail could care less, and like, Sydney having doubts about this new killer because she thought it was Billy until Ghostface actually called her in the police station. So now that made Gail be all like, oh man, she's about to pin this on somebody else who might be innocent. Because Gail is the only person who believes Cotton is innocent. But she could care less about getting him out of prison. She just wants to write another book. That adds more visual to the whole Marine thing. Then you get Tatum, who's having a conversation with Sydney, and Tatum is kind of like, maybe your mother just like wasn't a good woman and everything. Maybe she had like a lot of secrets and you just didn't know about it. That doubt on Sydney's mom is further visual and also audio that we need to, help build Sydney up as like a main character of the movie. Everything is revolving around that of her mom that trickles into that of Sydney. Then you get the final thing, which is the girls in the bathroom making fun of both Sydney and Sydney's mother while Sydney is in the restroom hiding and everything. And them talking about how Marine was like calling her all nasty names and calling Sydney nasty names, it is literally letting us know that, hey, Sydney is our main protagonist in this entire thing. What also helps is the fact that Ghostface is always calling Sydney on the phone and is always chasing her more than anybody else throughout the entirety of the movie. That right there is the cement we need to establish her as the final girl and stuff. Now, let's get to Sam, which is completely different. With Sam, we know that the actions of her mother helped cause a lot of the craziness that goes on in Scream 5. Her mother had an affair, and her mother slept with Billy and produced that of Sam. Sam is the offspring of a serial killer and everything. We never get to see it, but hopefully we'll get to see some type of visual of it, right? Right? No, that's the thing. We never ever get a actual picture of her mother. We don't even know what the woman looks like. We barely know her name. We don't even see what Sam's stepfather looks like. And we don't even know his name. We get told, not shown, about how she found the diary in her mom's attic and found out about the affair. It would have been nice to have some type of flashback or at least have the actual diary and stuff. So we get none of that, right? And so, like, Ghostface does call her on the phone, just not that much. But for the most part, he does call her. So, okay, whatever. But here's the other problem. The chase scene. Ghostface only chases Sam one time in the entirety of the movie. And I'm just kind of like, isn't she supposed to be the new lead? So why isn't he chasing her all around like town and everything? And the chase scene was very brief, and it was at the hospital. And it was just like, it's just that one tidbit. So that's the only real visual we get other than like the phone calls. And so... And she only gets attacked really one true time, and that's at the end of the movie when she's fighting off Ghostface. So then it kind of makes you wonder, well, why the heck is Ghostface even after her other than the fact that she's dating him and stuff? I mean, It has to do with the whole Billy Loomis thing, because he literally said, this is all about Billy and stuff, and they're film freaks and everything. But none of the phone calls relate to that of Billy. None of the taunting really relates to that of Billy, stuff for one time. Nothing really relates to that. Now, when we do get the visuals of what, her mom did that echoes in that of like Sam's life, it is that of the conversation with Tara and everything. When she tells Tara the truth, then that is the visual finally we get in everything. We needed that visual so bad of something that relates to that of their mom that affects that of the character of Sam. And Tara is pissed. Now, we do get the hallucination of Billy, but that's just made up in her head. Yeah, it's a visual, but it's not a realistic visual. It's basically just her daydreaming and stuff like that. So it's not really real. Also, when it comes to that of Sam, like I said, everything that makes Sam interesting, they tell us. We never get to see. After finding out about the diary and her real dad, Sam said she became like hooked on drugs and alcohol and party and became like a pain in the butt to everybody. We even hear Judy talking about how like she was how like Sam was so much trouble and it's good that she left and needs to go back. But yet we never see none of that. We never see a flashback of like Sam being out of control. We never see her in the present day being out of control and nothing like that. We see her pop one pill, but we don't know what that medication prescription is for. I'm assuming it's to make the hallucinations, I guess, go away, but it's never explained. But it is a visual, but we don't know why that's for. And for all we know, it could be like cholesterol medicine or something like that. And so everything that makes her very unique and interesting is always told to us and never shown. Now, once again, Tara should have at least been like the main like star of like this new franchise or whatever, or reboot, and she should be the final girl. Why? Well, once again, the events of what her mom did echoes in her life. She was the first person attacked on screen in a very brutal way. And she survived it. Then on top of that, she gets attacked a second time. Now this time while being in the hospital, and it was a true terrifying scene, trying to see, showing her wheeling herself away with her bloody hand and then crawling on the floor. She gets like at least 2 phone calls from Ghostface, and and because she got chased around twice, she's been chased around a whole lot more than that of like Sam and everything. And so, like, we can get a better feeling of why one of the Ghostface will at least be after her. One's the best friend. And, because of what Sam's and Tara's, like, mom did and everything, and caused, like, what's the face dad to leave, maybe that could have echoed in one of their lives, something like that, for wanting revenge or something like that. Like, who knows, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is, and then if you want to think about it, she got chased like a third time towards the end when she had to fight off one of the killers and stuff. And so there was always more stuff going on with her than it was that of like Sam. Also, those group of friends are her group of friends and not Sam's group of friends. So, there's more of a connection with Tara, and that makes her feel more believable as a lead than it does that of Sam. So, in terms of like who should be like the final girl, who should be the lead, Tara just seems more believable that of a character who's written a bit better. The friends are more related to her and close to her age, so that's tied into her. The crap that her mom did with Billy Loomis, that could be tied in more to her and stuff. The fact that the killer keeps going after her a whole lot more is more believable. It just never felt believable for the killer to keep going after Sam and stuff. And, like I said before, like, I truly believe it should have been Tara who should have been the new lead in this franchise. She seems a lot more innocent than that of Sam. She was just a normal girl living her life and all this craziness happened. With Sam, Sam was a normal girl till she found out something. And then when she found out that something, then Sam changed the course of her life that affected her in a negative way. And now she's trying to recuperate from that. So it's a whole lot different than just being innocent, because nobody told her to cope with your father being a serial killer, binging on like substance abuse and stuff like that, you know? So it's like she made all the stuff and like, all the bad stuff in her life happen further than what her mom did, as opposed to Sydney, who was just there being a normal person, similar to that of Tara, you know? Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.